All right, guys. Welcome back to another episode. Today, we're going to have a little fun. We're going to talk husband wife team. So, I'm sure there's people out there who are a husband and wife and they work together. And there's some people out there who are like, hell no, I'd never work with my husband or my wife. But Misty and I have worked together for a very, well, compared to others,
10 years.
yeah, 10 years. We worked together for 10 years, day in and day out. It's just wake up and go. And we enjoy it. And I figured we would talk about some challenges that we come across, talk about some uh, of the fun parts, why we enjoy it, and of course, some of the funny parts of working as a husband and wife team as well. And then just maybe hope that you guys can get some nuggets from this. So, but before we jump in, guys, I do want to say that if you're listening and just we don't run ads. So if you enjoy this or you get any nuggets out of this or learn something or have fun listening to the show, just leave a rating, share the show with your friends and anybody who could utilize some from this nuggets or some of this advice to get. So well, let's get started, man. So we have been working together for 10 plus years. How would you describe that, Misty? Let's start with you, Misty's point of view.
I think it has its challenges, but it's I like it. I wouldn't choose anything else.
Yeah. A lot of people work with their husband and wife and they just go, oh man,
Spend too much time together.
too much time together. So let's touch on that. Too much time together. So, most individuals that are married, I'd say a good amount, they have separate jobs and separate lives. And we've seen
Separate
that.
sets of friends.
Separate sets of friends, and we've seen that, you know. And so it's one of those situations where when they come home, it's like completely separate. And so what happens is um they basically end up in a situation where, they don't know about each other, what each other did that day or whatever. They're not going through the struggle together. And so, pretty much when it comes to that, they just
They don't really have a lot in common.
don't have a lot in common. And then what happens when they retire?
They don't know each other.
They don't know each other. Exactly. They don't know each other. And so then they end up in a situation like, I don't really know this person. And then they get tired of that person.
I don't like this person.
I don't like this person. I don't like this person, right? Because they didn't work together. So I think, and that's kind of something we've had those discussions. This is just things Misty and I've talked about over the years, working as husband and wife, because whether it's real estate, whether it's, building a business or whatnot, I mean, this is just stuff that goes on. But I think one of the things that helps is going to be the struggles that you go through together. You end up basically going through the struggle together where, you have to figure it out together. You know what I mean? That's probably pretty much it.
You're in it together.
And yeah, you're in it together. So, you know, that's that struggle helps. And so I think a lot of it comes down to when you have to build it together, I think it makes your relationship stronger. I don't know, how would you,
Yeah,
I mean, what would you say to all that?
I agree. When you're in it together, it takes both of you and to contribute and to problem solve and to come out with the outcome that
Yeah.
works.
And there's quirks that you have, right? I know, like, for instance, for mine, you had to learn when we first started working together, and because at first it was separate bank accounts
Yeah.
for a while. And some people are like, oh, I can never have a bank account with my husband or wife. Um, so you have to learn how to operate through that. I know that some people are very cheap. Others are, they just throw money around.
Extravagant.
Others are very extravagant, and some are right in the middle. And so I think, you have to learn that. I remember I had to teach Misty about floating money. If you guys don't know what floating money is, that's a whole nother lesson. But, that's a construction business lesson, by the way. Construction businesses float money all
Yeah.
day long. There's a lot of businesses that float money. So I had to teach Misty about floating money. I had to teach Misty about the ins and outs of, being not paying as fast or paying, you want to pay, but I had to teach her, kind of the you're trying to collect as quickly as possible. A mentor of mine says it's slow to pay, quick to collect. That's one that she did because in her eyes, just always being the employee, it was, it didn't really matter.
As soon as the paycheck hit, pay the bills.
Pay the bills, right? Versus, in the growing stages of the business, you had to kind of,
Float.
float things, right? That was something she had to learn. So we went through that struggle a little bit. She's like, why not? I'm like, hold on now. We got to work our way up to that, right? And so now that's not the case. And then, working out of one bank account, what would you say to that? I mean, what was that like going from two bank accounts to one bank account?
Um, it was interesting. Get to learn each other's spending habits. So I think in the beginning we had a few arguments.
Well, I was really cheap in the beginning. I remember that. I was like, in the early stages when I was accumulating just capital and cash, at that time it was very like, don't touch it, don't touch it, don't touch it.
Wasn't it one of your friends whose wife got onto him about spending some money at Sonic or something like $4 or
It was. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I remember that. We were all making fun of him for that. Because they had a bank account together.
Yeah.
Right. And of course, so yeah, you start learning each other's quirks, and I think working together it makes you closer,
I think it's important to create the budget. And so you sit down together because now you have two different people with debit cards on the same account.
mm-hmm.
And so find out where your money's going.
Yeah.
What are you spending it on? And, is that really necessary, or is there another alternative that would be better served?
And that's a weekly thing we do.
Yeah.
As well. So on a weekly basis,
especially with companies, our expenses and stuff. Sometimes, you sign up for this program or this subscription or something, and after a while, you're not really utilizing it anymore. Do you still need it, or have you found a better product or service or something? And so it's good to go through it every so often, probably at least once a quarter, and see if it's still meeting your needs.
Yeah. So let's talk about some challenges. When you think about challenges as a husband and wife, what are some of the things that come to mind for you? Husband and wife working together. It's hard for us because I know we don't really fight a whole lot. As odd as that may sound, people are like, you don't fight? We don't really bicker a whole lot.
I think one of the things that could create a problem for some is sometimes you might feel like that person is their boss.
Oh, Misty and I have had that argument before. I'm not sure. You're not my boss.
Because, things got to be done, and you're like, hey, you do this, you do that. And after a while, it could seem like, man, they're always telling me what to do.
Yeah.
And
I think that comes down to roles in the company, though.
Yeah.
You have to start letting,
know who is good at what.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we're definitely not good at the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I know there's certain things I'm not good at. I'm not tactful. Right. That's not me.
Yeah.
I can be, but Misty's the one that'll walk in and, kindly shut someone down. I'm the one that's like, just go ahead and leave.
Get off my property.
Get off my property. Right. So, you have to know, I agree with that. You have to know what you're good at and what you're not.
Yeah.
I'm not the property management person. I'm better off dealing with the clients than I am dealing with the tenants.
Mm-hmm.
Right. As far as that, or certain aspects in the academy, or certain aspects within any of there's certain, I know where I'm good and where I'm not. I know where you're good and where you're not. So,
Yeah.
So the roles, I think that's huge, which there is a book that talks about, and by the way, I don't get paid for doing anything. This is just, this is a good husband-wife thing. If you're a husband-wife team,
Mm-hmm.
it's something to look into, but there's a book called Rocket Fuel, and it talks about the personality types. And one of the personality types is called the visionary, and the other one's called the integrator. And the visionary is a person who has this big vision. They're not necessarily the individual who's going to be doing all of the work over and over and over, right? They're the ones who they build it. They're the architect.
Yeah.
Is what I like to call them. They call it visionary. They're the architect. They're the ones who they build everything and they put everyone in the right place, and they They start to tinker with how to make it work. And then the integrator is the one who ends up being the person who makes it all happen.
Mhm.
And so I think that's kind of explains us a lot. I'd be more the visionary, and then Misty's more of the integrator. Now I have integrating abilities, but doesn't mean that necessarily is where I'm going to spend all of my time.
It's not where you excel
It's
at.
not where I excel at. I'm not that individual. I'm the one that you get to put up front. Misty says all the time, she's like, "Can you come with me to talk?" It's kind of like Scott Horn. I love what Scott Horn said. That was my favorite. If you listen to the Scott Horn episode, he talks about. He said, "I wasn't good at this, but I could talk," and I 100% agree and understand with that. And so that's a visionary individual. Scott Horn is a visionary individual. He's
Mhm.
that kind of person. He's like, I know what I need to do. I know what needs to be done. I'll figure it out. I can talk, and let's get it moving. And that's exactly what it is. Whereas, Misty's that put me in the back office. You're the underwriter.
Nobody gets to me.
Nobody gets to her. You're the underwriter. But the integrator, that's what you need.
Yeah.
And so I think as a husband wife, being able to integrate is huge. You know, I mean, what other challenges would you say?
I think you need one of each, because if you're both the same,
Right.
nothing, either you have all these ideas and thoughts and stuff, but nobody can put it into action, or you have all these action takers, but no ideas.
Right. Stuck. Yeah, exactly. So what other challenges would you just think?
I guess like your office, or how you like to work. How are you more efficient, more effective?
Yeah. Yeah. When you have kids, separation of offices or being able to shut them out for a bit or
Mm-hmm.
whatnot helps. Um, I think though too, one thing that we do a lot is we go on a lot of things together. So, we'll tour properties together, we'll see things together. And we really don't have to. As we've
Yeah.
gotten, as we were growing, we stand more in our own roles. And, I don't may not have the time to say, hey, let me go view that with you. But I do try to go with you on stuff. And that's something I try to do as well. Try to actually go and, like, if you're gonna go look at a property or whatnot. I know the other day we went and looked at a property. It was like late night. I want to go. I'm like, I'm going for you. It's not really,
Yeah.
because I have to be there. I could just stay home with the kids. I was like, sure, let's go. It wasn't a. It was just being present, hanging out with you is really what it was.
Yeah.
And that's too is like when you work together. Some people I think try to run from, like the man cave thing. I don't understand the man cave thing. Um, I have my own office in my own area, but I don't have a man cave. I don't run down to my office to get away from everybody so that I can just be alone. That's not it. If I'm alone, it's because I'm trying to finish something, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know. So I think that's
Or
another
build
thing I see.
something.
Build something. Yeah. It's to build something. It's not because I'm gonna go in a man cave so that I can be alone. I don't I never got that. So, and these are just kind of little things that we go through. Another thing we do a lot is because we work together, we actually eat breakfast together.
Yeah.
That's something that we do a lot every single morning. We get up and we eat breakfast together, and it's about, 20, 30 minutes just sitting there. Could be listening to something together, could be another podcast, could be a book, could be something that we try to, and then we, in the last 5 minutes, we talk about that or talk about the day, and then we get things going. So
Yeah.
that's something that we do as well is eat breakfast together, and then we get the day started from
And
there.
like once a week, we try to have, lunch or dinner or something together that doesn't involve work.
Yeah.
Because it's funny that like we're together all the time. We're always, we work together, we live together. And then, a friend asks something and like, oh yeah, I don't know, I haven't got a chance to talk to him about it. It's like I'm with you all the time, but we're just in different roles.
But it is true though.
Yeah,
There are
yeah.
times you'll be like, I haven't asked him yet.
Yeah.
We just saw him. But that's not it, because one
Yeah.
thing that we do also is we structure it.
Mhm.
So we're not, just because we're together all the time Doesn't mean we're
We're not
talking.
focused on that. We're in a different role.
Yeah, the roles changed. We're talking about this, and then when we move into that, it's like I know on Fridays we eat lunch and we talk about the books.
Hmm.
That's kind of become the thing is, you know,
Books and brunch.
books and brunch. We talk, talk about the books, run through those, anything we need to go through, and then we're not really there to just eat. I mean, we're actually there to work, but at that time is our time scheduled for that. So, um, the different roles helps a lot too, you know. But I think too, I mean, I don't know, man. I just for me, it's just I think scheduling things out, being friends, actually enjoying it. I know people think, oh well, you're that's cliche, but I think if you can like it's kind of like we had an interview with an agent, and her and I get to laugh about that, together because we're like that was the wildest thing, but it's not there's a struggle that you go through with each other that you're when you build something together, and
Yeah.
so you respect like okay, I know why this person, I know why they are the way they are, so I think it has a lot to do with it.
Yeah. I don't think we could do this if we weren't each other's like best friends.
Yeah.
And
What about this?
we didn't get along.
So
It wouldn't work out.
let's talk about this dynamic because we're talking about some of the good stuff, but talk about the struggles, right? So you're I know one of the things that Misty is like with me, and every individual is different, but I know for me, I'm always pushing.
Hmm.
Go through that. Always like go,
Never
go, go.
satisfied.
Never satisfied. Go through that from your view as the wife and working together. Kind of run through that because I'm from the moment we get up, I'm like, Misty, you got to get up.
Yeah. I do not need to set an alarm. He is my alarm every day.
Right.
And yeah, you're just always pushing. And
Do you get
I know
tired?
I know a lot of people that would not work well for.
Yeah.
You would be divorced.
Do you get tired?
Every once in a while, I'm like, but I know it's to make us better, and I understand it. Every once in a while, it is frustrating, but I know the point behind it.
It even goes as far as Jake picking him up yesterday from school, and he looks at a car, it's dirty, and he's like, they're lazy. I said nothing, but I was like, push. I'm pushing. But I mean, someone's got to do it, right?
Yeah.
If it ain't me, it's going to, if it's not you, it's going to be me. Someone's
Yeah.
got to do it.
I mean, we each have our parts, and what we do is great, but without the push, we wouldn't be as far as we are.
Yeah. Someone's got to push. But husband, wife, though, I mean, like I said, it's not a hard thing to do. I think as long as you struggle together, you enjoy each other's time, um, and try to, you know, keep it civil. You're it's you can do things like, when we first met, I was like, I'm gonna work to get you out of your situation, and then switch the role so that you can be there. So, it's kind of like it kind of comes full circle. She's in a situation where she's in a W-2. I'm not. I'm going to get her out of the W-2 into a position where she can have more of her own time, and eventually put her in a position where she can do what she wants to do, and I can get out of what I'm doing to do what I want to do. It's like a little leapfrog,
Yeah.
But I think goals too helps if you don't have any kind of like let's go get that, you know. I know we have difference of opinions. Misty does not a big car person, right? So for
No.
you, you're like it's not a big deal. But we also, as a husband wife team, we oddly enough we don't splurge a lot.
No.
Very like
I don't even remember last time we went shopping.
we haven't, have we? Yeah.
We barely leave the property.
Yeah. Hey, you barely leave the property.
We just go eat.
Just go eat.
That's our common interest.
The little things in life, right? So, but yeah, I think separating, and then I agree. Trying to once a week eat whatnot together helps a lot too, especially when the kids are out of school. Go eat lunch, somewhere makes it easier. So, and then when you have kids in the mix, go through that real quick. When you have kids in the mix, anything change, anything, you've got more going on. I mean, from your perspective, working with your husband and then
I think
throwing kids in
it's a
there.
great benefit because the kids actually see a lot more of us than if we had 9 to 5 jobs or something.
Mhm.
You know, the bad thing is that we're we're never fully away from our work.
No, that's just being on. That's an
Yeah,
entrepreneur, though.
yeah. Because we'll be, spending some time with the family, and then you get a phone call or an email or something, and you have to address it right then.
Yeah.
But the kids understand that. We've had discussions with them and stuff, but um, in all actuality, they actually see us a lot more than if we had W-2 jobs.
So one thing I will say I think that's a benefit for anybody that's listening is when you have kids, they see it and they're like, they're either gonna do one of two things.
They see the hustle.
They're either gonna go, I see the hustle, or they're gonna go, I don't want to do that. But I think for our children, they see the hustle and they're like, all right, at least our oldest does. Our
Yeah.
youngest, he's still a little oblivious
And
to
one of the
things.
things I really like about it is, you know, the kids get to see it. Of course, they go to school, they learn, and there's some good stuff they learn, but a lot of it is they're just learning how to take these tests and pass these tests.
Right.
And so, but with us working from home and them being involved, and we have to take them sometimes to appointments or go look at a house or
Hmm.
something. And, so they get to learn some of this, that they're actually learning a skill and, how to
Yeah.
talk to others, how to communicate, things that will help them in the future.
They get to watch it.
Yep.
I remember going to work with my
It's kind of like
dad.
an apprenticeship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It absolutely is. I kind of, and that's the husband wife team, right? Working together. Because I remember like my dad was like a big salesman and, recruited from another company because he did such a great job, but I never got to see any of that.
Yeah.
I probably went on a couple of sales calls with him, but I'm so young, I don't really remember much. Like I didn't, you know what I mean? I don't really go, oh, that's why. But, then again, I enjoy sales
Yeah.
and I like to talk and I know he's like that. So it's like, oh, that's where it must have came from. But I never got to witness it. Our boys, especially Jake, he gets to
Hmm.
watch that. Say, this is okay. I'm like, Dad, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah. And he gets to hear our conversations about it because,
Hmm.
we'll be talking about it while
We
we're walking through the kitchen, getting food ready or
well, we
whatever.
also make it a point to talk about pretty much mostly everything in front of them.
Yeah.
Like that's another thing too. So if you do that with your kids, if your husband wife team, and if you try to hide, oh, well, we talk this or that, like we talk money in front of the kids, we talk houses, property, investments, all that stuff, because some of it they listen to, some of it they don't, but at least they're soaking some of it up. That
Hmm.
whether you know it or not, they're going to soak some of it up. They always do. I mean, just when you think your
Yeah.
youngest isn't listening, he says something, you're like, oh snap, he was listening to me. So yeah, I definitely think as far as husband wife team, working with each other, letting the kids hear as much as they possibly can, I think is important.
Yeah.
I mean, now we're not over there throwing around, this is what our bank balance is. I mean, we talk about stuff like that, but expenses and income and, if someone owes money or if someone, this or that or anything, or what's the next steps or how do we, how do we get to here? I mean, everybody needs to hear those kind of things.
Yeah.
I think that makes a huge difference in the conversation if you hear those things when you're young versus becoming a teenager and be like, I didn't know those things existed.
Yeah. Because whether they choose this path or not, they're going to deal with it when we're gone.
That's right, boys and girls. Absolutely. That's right, kiddos. You guys are going to deal with this when we're gone. So better be going back. And, funny enough, part of these recordings are meant to help our children as well down the road. They can go back and say, I want to listen to my mom and dad, this is what they did. And of course, all the different guests, individuals they brought on and
Hmm.
talked to, this helps.
Yeah.
This helps. So, working together is a great thing. We don't see any downsides to it. We have our moments where we bicker about stuff. It's usually Misty will kind of give me the finger, the middle finger and whatever, and we just keep it moving. But I think that's another thing too
We
is
don't hold grudges.
we don't hold grudges.
We don't have time for
Yeah, I don't got time for all that. Exactly. But I think that's a lesson though. Is like,
that.
when you work together, you don't have time you shouldn't have time to hold grudges. You need to keep it moving. So
Yeah.
you might say something that I know that this is both of us, and add to this if you want. Very pointed. Like, I'll just straight up tell you, right, hey, this is what it is. And if you don't like it, you're gonna say it, and then we keep it going.
Yeah.
And you do the same thing to me, and I like that. Even though I don't like it. I like that she says it. So I may say something like, "Oh, you're this or that," or this, but that honesty that comes out, just pure, I mean, raw candor, just honest answer, I think helps a lot too.
Yeah.
So um, that's my advice on all that for anybody who's who worked a husband and wife. It's a beautiful thing, and it can be a lot of fun, uh, as long as you like them. But if you didn't get together for any other reasons other than just because she was hot, you're gonna have a very hard time with that. And hotness will go away after a
It
while.
fades.
It fades. Only so much money can be put
It
in
cools
plastic.
down.
Cools down. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, anything you want to add to that, Misty?
Yeah, just looking towards those retirement years and stuff. You want to know the person you've been building a life with.
Yeah. Oh, I look forward to it. I'm ready. I'm like, we got some more years and the kids are out. We're gonna get a place in Miami and just that's it. I'm gonna be like, Miami is gonna be we have a
We're
nice
not
little condo.
strangers to each other.
Yeah, I have a nice little condo in Miami, and I look forward to just me and you taking a plane ride and be like, bye, kids. see y'all in a week. No, I gotta get back to train jiu-jitsu. I can't stay gone for a week. It's gonna be just a weekend, and they can be home. They're old enough to just be home, and I don't have to worry about them.
Yeah.
As long as they don't catch the house on fire or party, we're okay. So, but that's it, guys. So husband wife team. There's a lot of benefits to it. There's some drawbacks as well, but just make sure you guys understand how you want to handle money. Be friends. Take care of. Look out for the other person. And
have a visionary and an
integrator, and and know your roles. Absolutely, if you know your roles, and take those roles on fully, and it'll help. So, all right, guys, we'll catch you guys next time.